is live stream day. Super excited about it. If you hear the washer going on in the background, sorry, we're just getting stuff done. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Happy Valentine's Day. I've had more chocolate today than I care to admit, and I don't even really like chocolate. So I am not having any more of that, but it's everywhere. We're going to be talking about love herbs throughout folklore and different tea blends that you can make and tinctures that you can make that help with either a broken heart or to help when you're in love or wanting to be in love. So I'm pretty excited about this. I love the folky part of herbal medicine. I love that there's so many stories throughout history and all across different cultures that all have to do with different things with herbs supporting love. So I think this is really cool. And we may get some birds today. They've been kind of absent a little bit, but that's okay. And I'm just hanging out. I'm gonna wait until we got some people. We've been waiting. I'm waiting on some people to join us because they didn't want me to really start without them. So I'm just gonna hang out and chat for just a little bit while we're waiting. It is a fantastically beautiful day, though. My kids are in the living room playing Legend of Zelda with my husband. And they talk to me as if I know everything about it, and I have no idea anything about it, but they're so excited about it, and they're all into it together, which is really cool. So, really cute thing is we got my little boy, my 2-year-old. It's his first year that he really knows what Valentine's Day is, and he watches Little Bear every once in a while. And on there, Little Bear has a day where his mama gives him a Valentine, and he gives a Valentine to his friends and such. And anyway, so my husband and I gave him a little Valentine, and it's a little tin, and on it says something kind of scriptural. It talks about, he loves us so much that he gave us you, kind of thing. And then he opened up the tin, and on each of the individual little wrappers, the chocolates, there's just like little milk chocolate squares inside that are wrapped up individually, and on each one has a verse that talks about love. And so as he's eating them and as he's giving them to people, because apparently he's the kind of kid who wants to give everybody some of his chocolates, and that's his way of giving Valentines, and it's the cutest thing in the world. We've been telling him what the verses say, and so now he's giving people the chocolates, and he's holding it up and he's pretending to read it, and he's saying things like, "Because Jesus loves you, I'm giving you this." And I would lie if I would tell you that I didn't have tears in my eyes several times because of that. Hello guys. I'm so glad you're here. So glad you're here. Good to see you. Robin, hey. The beans have strayed. Interesting. I like that name. That's cool. So happy Valentine's Day, guys. Happy Valentine's. I am really glad you guys are spending some time with us here. We're going to talk about like herbs and folklore, and how herbs have influenced folklore with love potions, and we're not going to get witchy about it, but how it's influenced things with things that you would do if you wanted to be in love, if you wanted somebody else to love you, and also things that herbs that help when you have grief and things like that, because herbs are very good at helping with a sad spirit and a sad broken heart. So that's kind of the theme today, because it is Valentine's Day. So glad to have you guys here. Bye. Good to see you, Ramen. Hi, Susan. So glad you're here. Happy Valentine's Day. So we're just basically talking about folklore and different herbs that have helped with love and grief throughout history and all the different cultures. I mean, we're not going to go over all the different cultures, but we will go over quite a few of them, and some of the stuff that they talk about with all of this, because herbs are super consistent throughout history, um, dealing with this stuff, and so it's really interesting. I think it's super cool. But so I thought we would start off with the ones of grief and stuff, so that we can end on a happy note, maybe. And I know that I have a couple of viewers who are actually going through some really difficult times right now, where the Valentine's Day is a hard day for them, because they are grieving a relationship or a person that they loved mightily. And so they've actually specifically been asking about herbs that can help with that. And so we're going to go over some of the tradition that goes along with these herbs, and why they did that and how they help. So the first one, I mean, a lot of these herbs are going to help both with grief and with love, which is really cool, I think. So there's a circular image here with, a lot of them brides will have, like, in their bouquets, or they'll sew these into their wedding gowns, or if they're dreaming of hoping to have a relationship with someone, they'll have this herb. And then at the end of the relationship, if somebody were to die or something like that, or the marriage ended, then they would also use those herbs to help with that as well. So I think it's super cool. So we'll hear a couple of these twice. But rose, we've got to start with rose, right? Rose is the first one. It is often used in funeral rites. If you've been to a funeral, you've probably seen roses, right? But this is very common throughout Europe and the Middle East as well, not just here in America. But oftentimes they'll have them at funerals. A lot of times rose petals will be scattered on graves, and that's kind of... Hello, Inda, I'm so glad you're here. Probably wouldn't make the journey, no. Oh, thank you. I can't... That would be so cool, Inda, if we could meet in real life one day. That would be so cool. I know we get to talk a little bit on here, but it's not quite the same as being able to, like, see somebody in their presence and give them a hug or something like that. So I'm glad you do join in, though. It's good to see you. And I put your friends here just for you, so they're here for you. So now we can see the birds and them. So we're talking about folklore and herbs and stuff like that. So also, I wrote out a lot of notes on this, because I get distracted so easily. I get very, very, very distracted. So Victorian morning bouquets, they would often include white or pink roses in them, and that was a symbol of their mourning, and, like, the purity of heart that they have with that. And, like, I don't know, I love the idea of having certain flowers out and everybody knowing what they mean, if you're grieving or if you're mourning something, because when you are heartbroken, it is such a hard thing to be heartbroken, because nobody knows the pain that you're in. I mean, if you get a broken arm, everybody can see the cast that you have. But if you have a broken heart, like, you're just walking down the street and everybody's living their life as normal, not knowing that you're this broken person walking along beside them. And I love the ideas in cultures where, I know in the Middle East, they would have like criers that they would hire to just mourn loudly outside their house or wherever they were going with them, so people would know, hey, this person is grieving, something bad happened. Or, just wearing all black was... I wish we did that still. When you are in mourning, to wear all black, so that everybody knows, hey, treat this person kindly, because they're going through a mourning situation. I just think that is I think we're missing that these days. And I think it would be good to have a physical representation of your broken heart out so everybody could see, so that people could just care for you the way that you like. If you're in a wheelchair, people can open doors for you. People can help you the way that they notice that you need help. But if they can't see your hurt, how do they know? How do they know how to help? So that would be so great, and that would be great. Absolutely. And I told my husband he has to show up at some point on this live stream. He's required. So, oh, love you from Indonesia. That I have a friend in Indonesia. I love that. I know, right? So here they are. They're right here for you. Okay, let's see. So in Persian poetry, the rose often represents love that survives sorrow, beauty that still blooms after heartbreak. So I just think that's one of the most beautiful things on the planet. So a rose that just it's, the symbolism there is so beautiful, so beautiful. Love that survives sorrow, like that is great love indeed. So and then rosemary is often used for remembrance, right? So I am sitting and it takes quite a lot to get up because I'm like, the bed that I'm sitting on right now is my daughter's bed, and it's like 4 feet tall, and I've got my camera on a tripod in it, and I appreciate that, but no. Okay, so the rosemary's remembrance. So sprigs of rosemary would often be put into coffins or carried in funerals and in Europe because just like the symbolism there of wanting to remember everything that transpired with this person. The memory is all you have then. And brides and mourners both would wear rosemary, linking the beginning of love to the end of love. And though I guess you could put the rosemary with the roses and just kind of show, hey, we've got love that survives the sorrow, and we remember that love even though it's not the same way that it was anymore. Am I muted? I'm not muted. No, I'm not. Is that true? Loopy soup neck. Hello, hello. Inda, can you hear me? Can you let me know? Let's see. So this is, memory lives in both joy and grief. So that's why rosemary would be in both. So Chris Gromas, you too. You're saying you can't hear. Why can't you hear? Inda, I'm talking about you. You're my friend. You are my friend. Inda, can you hear me? It says I'm muted. Now, you can hear me just fine, Inda? Chris, maybe you're muted. Maybe you need to turn your volume up. Inda says she can hear me really well. Can't hear? Inda! This is Sawyer, by the way. I have a different one up here. Thank you, Inda. And Inda, you're my friend. You're the one. Loopy Soup Neck, I'm not muted. My volume is working fine. People are hearing me. I'm sorry that you can't hear me. Maybe it's your connection. Maybe that's what it is. This is my big boy. This is Sawyer. He's the big man on campus here. Okay, so let's see. The next one, lavender, is good for represents peace and gentle rest. And so people place it under pillows for multiple reasons, but one of the reasons is if you are grieving, oftentimes it's hard to sleep, and so lavender is really good to help you relax and fall into that sleep that you need so desperately. And then people use it in their homes for for the emotional loss and griefs too. So you'll put lavender in your house and it'll just kind of soothe you. And it's really good for that. Lavender is also symbolically, thank you, Inda. Sometimes people try to prank me, so I don't always know. So are often associated with loyalty and steady affection. So this would be more of like later on in marriage too. So like when it's not like the fiery passion of like the beginning. So yes. Big Rex, Texas. Hi. You have 3 cats. Are they big orange ones like this? Because I love the big orange kitties. They're so good. They're so good. And he's such a lover. Oh my goodness, he's just the best. Out of all of my cats, he's my favorite. And you can tell the other ones that too. I think they know. No, he's just fantastic. He's also our oldest cat too. So let's see. And he loves birds. Will jump up onto this is a bird feeder right here, and they will jump up onto that and eat from there. And he loves sitting here so he can chase after them. Let's see. So linden, also known as lime blossom. Oh, that's so cool. 1 tabby. I love tabbies. 1 white and 1 calico. How cool. So that the calico must be a girl, I bet. And then the white. Did you know that white cats, any white ever on a cat is a mutation? It's the cats are not white ever with normally, and so any kind of white on a cat is a mutation that causes that, which I just think is so cool. I think weird facts. Anyway, so let's see. So linden or lime blossom is often associated with softening sorrow. So just kind of taking the bite off of that. And yes, a girl. White is a boy and the tabby is a girl. Oh, I wonder how your girls get along together. I noticed that if I ever have 2 cats that are girls in the house at the same time, they're kind of mean to each other. They're not very good friends. They don't do well. Even if they are raised together, they don't do very well. So let's see. So the linden, a lot of European folk teas that are tied with like the idea of tenderness or emotional soothing will have linden in it, and because of this, in a lot of European village centers, they would plant linden trees because that's where everybody would kind of gather together. And oftentimes the gathering would be either like a wedding or a funeral, and so they wanted to have that that softening of sorrow if there was a funeral there. Anyway, very symbolic, very symbolic there. And then let's see, hawthorn. Well, hawthorn, of course. So hawthorn is like the big mama as far as it goes with heart maladies and herbal remedies for that. So, oh, they're sisters. Oh, good. That's good. It's Casper the White Cat. Don't like they gang up together on him. Poor guy. Poor guy. That's true. The 2 that I had were not sisters. They were raised together as kittens, but they were not sisters. So I bet, yeah, that must have a big deal to do with it. So let's see. So hawthorn, that's the big one. So hawthorn symbolizes thresholds, which is really cool, and renewal. So it could be like the beginning of love, or it could be the beginning of sorrow, or the end of love there. And so it's seen as a tree of both love and mourning in Celtic folklore. And it's often associated with the May festivals, and also symbolizes emotional protection and courage after loss. So giving you that courage is such a big thing, because it's hard. It's hard to go on after loss. Like it is. It's a anyway. mimosa is known as the tree of happiness. And a lot of times people who suffer from depression or anxiety will use mimosa as well. So it doesn't have to do just with like a broken heart because you're mourning the loss of love, but it can. It can also mean the emotional heaviness, the heartbrokenness of that depression and anxiety that you have in there. Big happy Valentine's Day. Hi. And we're talking about love. So mimosa often appears in Eastern Asian traditions as a symbol for lifting sorrow. And I know that the hawthorn berries and flowers and leaves of the tree or bush, depending on how you're growing it, we put those in a tea often, and that is something that helps with heartbreak. That just that heaviness that you get from that, and tinctures work really well with that as well. But there's just something warming about the tea that just kind of soothes at the same time. So, thank you. Yes, this is my front yard. Let's see. So also it's associated with emotional brightness, returning after grief, which is nice. And it's in a lot of poetry. So if you want to hear some really cool herbal poems, hawthorn is awesome, is often represented in any kind of love poem or sorrow mourning poem if they're drawing on herbal symbolism. So no, you're my friend, Inda, for sure. I love that. I love that. I'm pretty sure my daughters would absolutely love you too, Inda, just so you know. And then, okay, so, and then motherwort, talking about daughters, right? Motherwort is like, symbolizes courage and emotional holding. So you can just imagine like when you're heartbroken and you just need a hug from your mom, like motherwort is kind of symbolizes that, where it mothers you. So hence the name. So it's a very nurturing herb. It appears in a lot of old European herbals that are tied to courage and reassurance that things are going to get better. It's very symbolic of being emotionally steadied or like held, right? So that just, you know. Anyway, so rosemary specifically. So in there's a lot of variations across different regions, but there's often a reoccurring tale, and you'll hear a lot of folklore of if there's a folky tale that involves a bride. Oftentimes they'll talk about how when she was getting married, she would have rosemary, and she would either make a rosemary wreath for her head and kind of have that as a crown, or she would sew it into her dress, or she would have it in her bouquet that she's holding, and that would, and then she would also later have that when her husband passed, and so she would keep that on her as her husband passed, or have it in the grave with him, or on him, or they'd keep it next to a picture or something of them, or place it on their grave. And basically the message there in those folklore stories was basically that love and remembrance are part of the same thread, right? Yeah. So rosemary symbolizes like the beginnings and the endings of beautiful moments of life. And I think love is definitely the most beautiful. So there you go. Okay, so let's move on from that. I was kind of putting that on there because I know Constance said that she was dealing with some emotional heartbreak stuff, and so I was hoping that she would get some goodies out of that, but I don't see her yet. So I don't know if she's going to be joining us today, but if she watches this later, Constance, that's for you. All that stuff was planned specifically with you in mind. So There you go. So here we go. So here's the folklore of stuff that deals with love. And I mean, there's some really cool stuff here. I'm excited about this part. So, right. That would be so cool. I will definitely tell them hi from you. Definitely. Okay, so okay, we're going back to rose, right? So rose, definitely, definitely. Everybody knows like the symbolism of a red rose is a very romantic love, right? And pink is a friendship. Pink and yellow are a friendship kind of love. Um, so let's see, what do I say? Oh, Cleopatra often would fill her banquet halls or her throne room with roses just to enchant people. Like that was a big thing for her, was trying to enchant the people that came to her. Not like a witchy enchanting, but like they just, she wanted them to be enchanted by her and her palace and her land, I guess. And that's where she got a lot of her powers. People were just enchanted with her. And I've read things where she wasn't actually that beautiful, but she was just so seductive in the way that she presented herself and the environment that she was in, that's what made things work for her. You know, she got Mark Anthony, right? Mark Antony. Anyway, kind of skipping through here. Let's see. Hmm. So roses, definitely. I am not seeing where I put my notes. Oh my goodness, I lost them. I'm sorry, guys. Stick with me for a second. Stick with me. Okay. Also, let's see. So red lobelia. This is really cool. This was like my first introduction that I ever had to like an herbal folklore thing with, hi Mike, good to see you. We are doing good. Happy Valentine's Day. Glad you're here with us. So there was a time when I didn't homeschool, and so my girls were in kindergarten, and my son was in preschool, and I just had like the day, because my work didn't start until late afternoon, evening time, and I'd come home real late at night, and so I had like the whole morning to myself, and nobody was around, and I didn't know what to do with myself. So I would just go out into the woods, and I would find every kind of plant that I could find that I didn't already know about. And so every day I'd come back with an armload of plants, and I would sit there on the porch or in the living room with them strewn across everything, and I would look them up, and I would figure out what they were and what they were good for. And that kind of started my herbalist journey, really. And then the one of the plants that I brought back one time was scarlet lobelia, and that was growing in our marshy area down at the bottom of the driveway, bottom of the mountain, and so scarlet lobelia, apparently, according to folklore, if you took the roots and you soaked them in water, and then you wash your face with this water, the next person that you saw would fall in love with you. And so I started looking into that, and there's a lot of folklore that deals with face washing. And so you would put like the roses in the water, and then you would wash your face. And there's a lot to that, because rose water actually really does make your complexion cleaner and brighter and smoother. And I'm realizing that obviously this isn't going to work. Like, you're not going to splash your face with lobelia and the next person sees you, didn't like you before, but now you have the lobelia root water on you, and now, you know, they're in love with you forever. But if you had some sort of ritual that you could perform that would give you confidence that you are now irresistible and beautiful, and that of course they would fall in love with you if they saw you now. Just that confidence would probably produce really desirable results. So I'm thinking that probably these beautiful flowers that they would use, and scarlet lobelia is gorgeous, and it does look very reminiscent of love because with the scarlet red flowers and very romantic roses. There were several other ones, and I forget what those were right now, but I think washing the face, I think it worked a lot, but not because they're washing their face with these things, which maybe made their face cleaner, you know, and that's nice, and that is going to add more beauty. But the confidence that they would get from that was enough to sway someone if they were already kind of leaning towards liking someone, towards hey, I really like being around this person. They're really cool. So, William, hello, hello. No, he totally did. He brought me many chocolates, and he got me a beautiful card, and yeah, yeah, and we're gonna have a date tonight, so I'm pretty excited about that. We're watching The Chosen together, and I can't stop crying every time I see an episode, and I think about it all day. That's all I want to do is watch it. And so that's what we're going to be doing tonight. We're going to have that, and then we're going to probably eat some really yummy food, which is what I do for him because he is a romance for him is food for sure. I did get him some nice coffee and some chocolates and jerky, because jerky is definitely a love language for him. The sweet and the spicy, that's his favorite kind, the beef jerky, sweet and spicy. Thank you, William, I appreciate that. So, I am glad to see you again. I'm glad that you're here. We are talking all about love and folklore love, things that they would, herbs that they would use in folklore for almost like love potion type stuff, but maybe also discussing that, yeah, of course, the love potion part's not going to work, but why did they think it was going to work? And I think a lot of it was the confidence that the women would get or the men would get when they were using these, and that's probably what tipped the scales in towards their favor. So. Yeah, he doesn't buy me flowers because I get mad if he buys me like a bouquet of flowers, because in my mind, like, why didn't you just buy me a plant, right? And there's not really any good plants right now for sale. So when plants go for sale, and he takes me to nurseries and he buys me plants, then it makes me sad when I have this beautiful flower that I know is going to die very soon. I just want to put it in the ground. So it's pretty exciting that he knows me that well. Yeah, you can make a lot of things out of his beard. You could. There's a lot to work with. He's got a huge, ginormous beard. He told me, though, if I ever told him that I didn't like it, though, that he would shave it off for me. He said, in a heartbeat. So I am blessed that he cares about what my opinion is. Let's see. What were we talking about? We did rose water. So, I'm going to be making some face masks and some salves for skin brightening, and it's going to have rose water in it. So I'm pretty excited about that. Rose hydrosol. That is probably one of the most complicated things I make. It's not difficult, but it's tedious and it takes a long time, and you got to be really particular about it. And so rose water is actually pretty hard to make with the tools that I have. I'm sure that there are tools out there that make it a lot easier, but that's such a good idea. I should tell him that. I should absolutely tell him that. What a good idea. Okay, so let's see. The next one, orange blossom water. In a lot of Mediterranean countries, women will so I hear, wash their face with orange blossom water on the day, like right before their wedding. They'll put that on, and it's really just symbolic of joy and purity and celebration, and it kind of, it's one of those things that just really puts you in the, ooh, I'm getting married kind of mood. And then the scent itself is just glorious. Oh my goodness, orange blossom. Oh, there's not much better than that. And then let's see. So if you have ever seen roses scattered across like a bed as a romantic symbol or a romantic gesture, that actually came from Roman culture. And so when Rome was the ruler of all, basically, they were the ones that started putting the rose petals on the beds, which I thought was really cool. And Persian poetry just was full of rose symbolism, and it was like the original like heart emoji was a rose. Like anytime you put a rose somewhere, like people just saw it as love, which is so cool. So then let's see, lavender was really good for loyalty and calm affection. We kind of already talked about this. Some people believe that if you put lavender under your pillow, then you'll have dreams about the person that you love, which I like that, right? I think that's really cool. And then basil. This is new to me. I was researching some of this recent for this live stream, but basil represents passion and openness to romance. And so in Italy, people would put a pot of basil in their window, and when they did that, that meant, hey, I'm ready to start courting, which I think that's the coolest thing in the world. I love that. Um, honestly, like I do play video games sometimes, and one of my favorite video games is Skyrim, and I love that you can wear like this amulet of Mara, which says, hey, I'm open to courtship or marriage or whatever. I think that's a cool thing. I don't know why we don't do that in culture. It's just like putting on the mourning clothes when you're heartbroken. Why don't we have stuff like that that says, hey, I'm on the market? There's always the thing that you put on when you're like not on the market anymore, right? But I mean, that just sounds like fun. Anyway, how do you guys feel about that, right? I totally think that it would be good if we had more symbolism in our culture that we used socially like that. Anyway, and then in India, holy basil is connected to devotion, just like in Europe, the rose language. Is big on the different symbols of the color of roses that you have in India. Holy basil or tulsi would be connected to like a devotion feeling. Apparently, I mean, I've never been there, but from what I read, that's what I see. So I am so glad that you're finding it interesting. Thank you. I appreciate that. I think it's super interesting. I think it's super cool. Thyme is cool because it represents both courage and courage in love. I know that if you really love someone and you haven't told them yet, that takes a lot of courage to talk to them. But then oftentimes during medieval times, women would embroider thyme onto scarves or clothing that they would give to the knights. And that would give them courage while they're out in battle, and also courage to return home to them. And it is also said to stir the spirit, and I think that we all know what that means. So, what? Oh my goodness, did you do your last college exam now? Wait, no, for last semester. So you're not done this semester, right? Like you've still got some more going on this semester, right? Is that true? That's such a good idea. It's almost lunch and that exam took all your energy. Oh, that's so sweet. If it was a guy, you need to marry that person. I'm just saying right there. That is like, you need that in your life for the rest of your life. That is fabulous. What a great idea. Okay, apple and apple blossoms represent fertility and new love and youth. And so, in a lot of folklore, you would take an apple and you would peel it, and then you take the peel and you toss it over your shoulder, and then turn around and look at it, and it was supposedly going to form the first letter of the name of the person that you were going to marry. And so, like, girls, I don't know if you did stuff like this when you were younger. I know, I think it carried on to even to my youth, where the girls around me would say if you had an apple and you twisted the stem, each time you twisted it, you would say a letter of the alphabet, and you work your way through the alphabet, and whatever letter you ended on where it broke off eventually, that was the letter of the name of the guy that you were going to marry. So apples apparently have a lot to do with that. So, oh my goodness. And when are you going to be done? Are you in like your first year, second year, third year? Right, Koki? I agree. I agree. I think that if that is a potential future spouse, you need to jump on that, Inda, for sure. Oh, I'm so excited that you guys are piping in and talking about this stuff. That's so good. Symbolizes purity, health, devotion. I love that. I love that. Tulsi is such a beautiful herb. I mean, I absolutely understand why you guys would have that as such an important herb, that you, with all that symbolism and having that so richly in your lives, because oh my goodness, it's beautiful and it smells so good and it is so good for you. If you look at the list of things that Tulsi is good for, if you drink Tulsi tea or if you have a Tulsi tincture, it is voluminous. Like, there is so much that Tulsi is good for. It is one of those herbs that I will always have in my garden, no matter what, because it is just, and it's so easy to grow. It's so forgiving. So, yeah. Oh, as a girlfriend. Okay. Oh, oh, wow. That is the best. Why do girls have to be so good at this? We need to write a book for men and be like, hey, this is how you do it. That is such a great idea. That, and I think I'm going to steal that idea and do that for my husband for his birthday. I think he would love that. So let's see. Let's see. Oh, baby. Let's see. Yeah, so a lot of these. Oh, okay. So now we're getting into like the romance part, right? So we just talked about like the stirring of the spirit, right? So here we are in like the vitality and the passionate traditions, right? So Damiana. Now, I've only ever read about this herb, so I have not actually heard people talk about this one, but I know a lot about it because I've read a lot about it. But Damiana, from what I think it's pronounced, I am historically very, very frequently mispronouncing things because I read them and I don't hear people talk about them often. And so I come up with my own thing. Like, have you guys ever read a book? I really love reading books, and like fantasy and romantasy is like my favorite, absolutely. And so there'll be like these crazy names in there, and I'll read the name, but I'm just kind of like skimming over the name, and I never like really sound it out completely. And so in my head, I recognize the word as I'm reading it, because it's often put throughout the book, and if somebody ever says the name that I read in the book, I don't recognize it because it's not at all what I came up with in my mind to represent that person. Do you guys know what I mean? Oh, the Oh, wow. Oh, great, Suraj. I'm so glad that you're telling us this stuff. That is awesome to have. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, my goodness. Oh, the baby is worrying me. I have a bottle if you need it. What were we talking about? Oh, Damiana. This is a Central and South American herb, and it is in a lot of love potion folklore. Oh, baby girl. Do you want a bottle? I've got one if you want it. That, and you need to show your face because Inda will be mad at me if you don't. Oh, never mind. Okay, I will give you. Hold on one second, guys. I got a bottle.
I wouldn't let her play with the spider, so.
Oh, you want to play with a spider? My girl is so brave. She is into everything. Apparently, my husband wouldn't let her play with a spider that she found, and that was what made her so upset. She wanted to play with a spider. So my son, my 2-year-old son, is like, okay, so we have a wood stove. Let me put it this way: we have a wood stove, and I'll be making a fire, but there's a child safety gate around it, and so I'll be inside the safety gate making the fire so that the kids don't burn themselves on it. And so my son and my daughter will be on the other side of the gate, and they'll be holding on, they'll be looking at me while I'm making it. And my son will be talking to my daughter, who's only like, I think she's like 9 months old. She might be, yeah, about 9 months old. So she'll be right there looking at me, and he'll be saying to her, you know, be careful, don't burn yourself. We got to be careful here. And he's very protective and caregiving, and he's always a very careful kid, and she's just there at the gate going, ah! Trying to get in, and that's basically their personalities right there. So I love the idea for bouquets. I don't know, that does not sound insane. That sounds incredible. Your very last year. Oh, that's so exciting. Oh my goodness. What month are you graduating? I want to remember so that we can celebrate with you. That is so exciting. I hope you don't stop doing the live streams with us then. Don't stop. Just keep coming back, please. Let's see. What were we talking about? Damiana. Yeah. So Damiana is in romantic tea blends historically. In fact, I heard that it's hard to find Damiana. Like, I can't find the herb to grow here in America, North America, the United States. I can't find it. And you can buy the dried herb, but you can't buy the plant. And there are some plants that you're not allowed to grow here. And so it makes me wonder if you're not allowed to grow it. And I heard people talking about it, saying that it is so aphrodisiac-y that that is almost considered not appropriate to have it available all the time. They don't want people misusing it. And so it's great if you have like a partner that you're with, that you can make tea and share that tea with them. But I think they were afraid that people were going to be sneaking it into teas or drinks, and people wouldn't know. And so it would kind of be questionably used that way. And so Damiana, I think, is like a really super strong one. And I haven't had I haven't ever tried it personally, and I haven't been around people who have tried it personally, but I've read about it, and this is what I've seen. So Damiana, there you go. You don't know yet? Oh, hopefully before August. Okay. Yes, Koki, thank you. I want to know what you're studying too. We are in Virginia. This is Appalachia. We are in the central western part of Virginia in the United States. So that's where we are here. So language and literature. Oh, cool. So Inda, do you ever come across stuff like folklore that talks about herbs and stuff like that. Like, I know that Hamlet talks about rosemary, and he talks about it, and then he, and rosemary for remembrance. I know it's in a lot of different literature, so I wonder if you've come across that. But what kind of literature is kind of a big deal too. I mean, some people just study Shakespeare, but then a lot of people, study the like poetry or oh my goodness, there's so many. I can't think now. See, this is why I write stuff down, because I can't. I'm not good at thinking on the fly. Oh, I just admitted that on Livestream. That's great. That's great. Okay. Okay. So Damiana and cacao. So, chocolate, right? Hence why we give chocolates on Valentine's Day, right? It was an Aztec ceremonial drink. So again, this is back to Central and South America, right? And it was a luxury drink. It was a luxury to have it. And then the symbolism there was passion, like, very passionate to have that. And I know medicinally, it is super good to have dark chocolate specifically because it's not processed too much. It is very good to have that when you are, and when it's that time of the month for women, and where our emotions are just like going crazy. Chocolate, there's a reason why we crave it during that time of the month, is it like it really does help with that. And so, anyway, cinnamon is a really good one for the whole passionate mixture because, it symbolizes warmth and fire and attraction and just the smell of it. I mean, it was really common in medieval grimoires. So all these spells that they were doing, basically, if it was a love spell, it had cinnamon in it. I would totally, I love it so much. That is so great. I bet the looks were all that they were jealous. I bet that's what it was. They all wanted some themselves. What a good idea. Oh, yeah, that's gonna become a thing here. I'm totally turning that into a thing. What? Okay, so along the same lines as cinnamon, we have ginger, right? And so ginger is really good for energy and stimulation, and often found in romantic tonics and potions throughout literature and cultures. And then cardamom as well. Cardamom. There is an Arabian love drink that has that in it, and specifically says, hey, this is, make sure you put that in there. And it symbolizes, it's weird how these two go together, hospitality and sensual luxury. So I don't know how that goes together, but anyway, that's what that symbolizes. Let's see. So we got the apple peel traditional thing. Also, dream root. If you guys have heard of dream root, that has been used before. African dream root, to help kind of like dream walk, I guess. But you take the tincture of it appropriately, and then you would be able to like lucid dream, and you would be able to kind of manipulate things through your dreams according to legend. Anyway, but there's that, and then there's the ghost pipe as well. So ghost pipe is I don't know if you'd call it like a mushroom, but it's in that family, and the ghost pipe specifically, kind of what they say, as far, because we didn't talk about this earlier, sorry, this is part of the grief thing too, where it like sets you aside from yourself, if that makes sense. So like you can see the grief and the issues that you're going through and the difficulties that you're having, and it kind of sets you aside from it, so you can perceive it without feeling it so intensely, and kind of process it better that way. So they say. So anyway, chamomile was often used where they said that if kind of like if you have like a daisy or any kind of flower and you do the he loves me not, he loves me not. Chamomile, they said, if you picked the petals off the chamomile flower and you were thinking about the person that you loved, it would it would kind of open up that door a little bit more for you, and it would increase those feelings of reciprocity, I guess, between the two of you. I don't know. Favor inviting, I guess. And then in some cultures, they said that if you took a name of the person that you loved and you stuck it in a jar of honey, that it would sweeten their feelings towards you. Anyway, that's found in multiple cultures. So not just like, not just one, but multiple cultures do that. Really cool. So I think that's really cool. And then another one, folklore thing, is moonlit flower picking. So if you they said that if you would gather flowers by moonlight before midsummer, the act of itself would bring a more romantic season for you the next season. And so there would be more romance in your life. Anyway, so I just think that's interesting. I know as a kid I did a lot of these silly things, and I know that they don't really do anything for sure, but it's cool to kind of see how flowers and herbs have played such a role in all of this throughout history and across all the different cultures, and how many cultures use the similar herbs and flowers and such for similar things. I think it's really interesting. So I agree. I would definitely have to film it, and then I would share that with you for sure. Definitely film it. Sawyer is knocking over Rainbow Dash for you. I'm sorry. Watch your tail, young sir. Not so young anymore. But anyway, so that's pretty much all the stuff that I had for that. But we lasted the whole hour with that, so that's pretty exciting. So there we go. And do you guys do anything when you were younger to like kind of? I know we would also do jump rope too, and this has nothing to do with herbs or roses or anything like that. But we would do jump rope songs, and it always dealt with landing on the letter of the name of the guy that you'd marry one day, and it was always such a big theme as a kid, was like figuring out the name of the person you're going to marry, which is crazy to me because you're just kids, but we have that longing even when we're young, I guess, for that, and that's just interesting to me. So, did you guys do anything like that? Do you guys have anything like the apple peel thing? I think that's really cool, and the basil in the window, I love that, love that, love that. Yes, thank you, Indev. Yeah. How are you going to graduate if you're sleeping through all your lessons? My goodness. That's cool though that they teach that stuff. That's really cool. See, I would be riveted at that point, but if you're up so late, because I know it's like middle of the night for you right now. If you're up so late, no wonder you're sleeping in class. These papers have got to be crazy that you're writing. Or just super frequent. Probably super frequent for you, right? To be writing all the time. If you notice, our snow is melting, which is the most exciting thing in the world for me. It's starting to get warmer. I might be able to do the live stream outside next week. I'm hoping so. I'm really, really, really hoping, because I just want to be outside. there was a video that I just did about herbal syrups and honeys, and I was gonna film it inside because it was so cold outside, but I just couldn't. I had to go outside. I had to film it outside because I just needed to be in the fresh air. Oh, I'm tired of being cooped in so much, and I came back in from it, and my hands were frozen solid, almost. Like, it was really difficult to move my fingers for a while after that. And then I just did a couple of videos about things to plant. If you're not good at planting things, like if you neglect your garden often, these are the things you want to plant. If you actually want things that taste good. I mean, obviously you can put like radishes or whatever, but like, I don't know about you, but I'm not a huge radish fan. So I put the things that I actually enjoy eating that you could leave on vacation for a few weeks and come back and it's still going to be fine. And so I'm out there doing that, and I come back and it's so cold and my hands are frozen, but it is so good to be outside. It is so good to be outside. Ah. 3:01 a.m. Oh my goodness. Go to sleep, Inda. Go to sleep. But I'm glad you're here. Just so you know, I'm still very glad you're here. I guess if you're doing this on the weekend, that's a very responsible thing to do. Don't do it on the weekdays where you have to be at class in the morning. So good job for you. Anyway, I've got to go. I promised my husband it would only be an hour today because I am spending the afternoon, evening with him. So anyway, I'm excited. I hope you guys have an absolutely wonderful, happy Valentine's Day, and that you get to spend it with somebody that you love. And if you are alone, I hope that you have some tea, some Tulsi tea, and you put some hawthorn berries in it so that you can have some comfort and encouragement that way. Have a wonderful day, guys, and stay blessed.